SOSG, standing on solid ground. Hello, this is Kim Jones with Standing on Solid Ground. I am the host of this motivational and inspirational podcast, and today I will be speaking on grace. Grace is an act of kindness. Kindness that began with God when He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on Him shall not perish but have everlasting life. He has taken the law or the rules of the old from Moses and from Joshua and Elijah, those laws that he had put in effect in the Old Testament, and brought it over into grace after Christ when Jesus had died and rose again after that third day. And grace is a great way to express kindness, and we see it every year during the holiday season, giving gifts and having family gatherings, and just really enjoying each other's company. Also, I watch so many acts of kindness during the year, even before the holidays or after the holidays, where I watched an episode on Facebook where a woman was a housekeeper. She cleaned condominiums for tenants in this particular area. Well, the tenants had found out that she was homeless. She was living with her sister, and she just didn't have a place to go during the crisis of the pandemic and COVID-19 and how it has impacted so many people. But faithfully, this woman came to work every day that she needed to be at work, and she did her job as though not anything was wrong. Well, the tenants decided to get together and put together a lease for her where she can have a place to stay rent free for 2 years, staying in this condominium. She was so overwhelmed and so floored that she didn't really know what to say. She was just in shock and in awe. This is an act of kindness, the gift of giving. Grace, mercy was found, favor was found for her through these individuals by God to give her a place to stay because she was just a immaculate housekeeper, and they appreciated her every day that she came in. I also look at the act of kindness with animals, how so many animal lovers and so many people who go out to find animals that have been abused and abandoned and pretty much just left for dead, if not pretty close to death. And they go out searching for these animals and giving them a place to stay and taking care of them. This is an act of kindness, grace. These animals were found favored by these individuals who love animals and have such great compassion for animals. And I commend them. And the list can go on, but it's not always for those that you do know. It's for those that you don't know as well. A homeless guy found a wallet that belonged to someone, and he returned the wallet. He returned the money that belonged to this individual. Well, in return, they gave him a place to stay. They tried to offer him a job, food to eat, the whole 9 yards. This is favor. This is kindness. This is grace. And these are all wonderful acts on a daily basis. I mean, I've had experiences where when I was working in retail, I had different individuals that will come in from day to day where they were upset with me because I didn't tell them that I had a day off, and they were looking for me. The simple thing as a smile, or to say good morning, or have a good day, or it's good to see you. That changes people's lives every day. And I didn't realize the impact it was on these individuals, that they were upset with me. They thought I quit my job. And I'm like, no, I just took a day off, but I was a fixture there. I had worked there several years. I enjoyed doing what I did, and I loved people. I love working with the community, good, bad, or indifferent. I've had customers where they were pretty outraged. I had a customer that was so upset with me that she just went ballistic. She went all the way live. About a week or so later, she came back in and she told me, "You were rude to me. You were rude. You were disrespectful to me." And so what I did, I said, "I apologize. I apologize if you thought that I was rude to you. I apologize if you thought I was trying to offend you." And I really wasn't. I was just explaining to her that I was in school at the time working on my master's degree. And she went all the way live. Well, what she was upset about was the fact that I was a woman working in retail at my age and I should be doing better than what I'm doing. And I asked her a question. I said, "Well, may I have you answer this one question for me? If I were doing something else at this time, who would be waiting on you? Who would be servicing you? Who would be checking you out?" Sometimes it's not because I'm here because I can't find anything else. It might be because I like what I do. And maybe it's not time for me to move to another area. Sometimes I need to stay put. And I was glad that I stayed put because that's when I lost my mom. And, jumping from job to job to job to job wasn't going to be good. Now, had I moved to another position someplace else in another career or another field, they may not have been so kind for me to go and plan this funeral for my mother and be off 2 weeks, where this job allowed me 2 weeks of bereavement to be able to tend to my dad and to tend to the business at hand. So when I explained to her that we don't move because that's what we want to do. I move because that's what I was instructed to do. When the door is open is when I go through it. If the door is not open for me to go through, I won't walk through. Well, she later apologized to me and she told me, I never looked at it that way. I I just thought that maybe you just didn't want to do any better. I said, it doesn't have anything to do with me not doing any better. It has something to do with the fact that I needed to be somewhere where if my parents got sick, I'm close to home and I can get to them right away. And that grace that God had given me, He allowed me to submit myself, to humble myself, and apologize to her. And she came down like octaves. She came down tremendously. And before long, we were best of friends. There was another instance where I saw a young woman outside with her little boy. He was about 2 or 3 years old, and they standing out in the cold, and I'm sitting in my car eating lunch because sometimes I just wanted to get outside and get some fresh air. And she's standing out there begging for money. And God just said, give her some money. And I had $5 on me. That's all I had on me at the time. And I gave her that $5. And this woman went in and she bought her son a Lunchable and she bought him some medicine because he was sick. But she didn't have enough to get him anything to drink. So I went to the cooler and I bought some juice for him and gave her the juice for him to drink. And my manager asked me, he said, do you know her? I said, no. I said, but if a child is hungry or if a child is thirsty, I'm not going to walk away and just not give him or give him something to drink. Now, I may have given her my last $5, but I did have my debit card on me, and I purchased this items for her and for him. The act of kindness goes a long way. And she never forgot me. She always told me, I'll pay you back sometime. No, I'm not looking for you to pay me back. I'm glad that I was able to help. Grace is something that should be freely given, but sometimes it's not. Grace, mercy, and kindness kind of works together hand in hand. And this layer of my foundation or of my solid ground is important to me just like any other layer. It's also important for me to explain why I'm breaking it down the way that I am. These elements work together to create who I am in Christ. These foundations have been attributes that God has given to me that I'm using to build my solid ground and to make it strong in Him. But He's keeping it afloat that I never have to worry about ever sinking or falling off of it. As long as I have my weapon and my shield of faith and my sword and my spirit and have my body armor on, I can always fight. But sometimes there are people out here that need you to fight for them. And the way that I fight for other people is in prayer. I had a young lady come to me one time and she said, "You pray a lot." And I'm like, "Yes, I do." She said, "Would you pray for me?" I said, "Sure, I will." And I prayed for her. And when that prayer, I watched some things change around her. She was able to get a better job. She had a better way of getting to work. Her children were always, had a place to go after school. She was having difficulties. I didn't ask her name. I didn't ask for the reasons for the prayer. God already knew all of that. All I needed to do was pray. There was another young woman that came to the store a lot with her two little girls, and she always bought notebooks. She bought one subject notebook because she said that's all she could afford. And I asked her, I said, "Well, where you go to school?" And she said, "No, I write out my feelings and my thoughts. I write out my hurts and my pains." So one day I decided, I said, I'm going to buy her this journal book. And it's about pretty good size, pretty thick, maybe about 300 or 400 pages in it. And I bought her some pens. And I stapled the receipt in the book so no one thought she stole it or I was stealing it for her. And I gave it to her. And she broke down and cried. She said nobody has ever been that nice to her. Those little gestures can change a person's life. From a simple "I apologize" to buying just a cup of juice or a bottle of juice to giving someone a book to enhance what they're doing. That kindness goes a long way. I found favor in her because she's trying. She's making an effort to do something. Now, I don't know any of these people. I didn't know their name. I didn't know what walk of life they came from. I didn't know anything. But God touched me to touch them. And that's what showing favor is all about. God showed me favor when I didn't deserve it. He's given me things that I knew out of no guessing, second guessing it at all. I had no reason with. But He gave it to me. I was undeserving, but He found favor. He had grace on me. I want you to understand that these elements are these layers of my solid ground. It's not to pick apart anybody's life, but it's to share the things of my life so you will know that if you ever face these issues in your life, you can have a better approach. You can look at it in a different light. You can be a better person. Maybe you weren't such a nice person. I have been where have not been a nice person. I can honestly say that. People will say, "You're the nicest person that I ever met." Yes, I can be, but my children will say differently if I get angry. I want you to know it's okay to get angry, but control it. Do something positive with that anger. Turn it around. Bless somebody that you be blessed. Don't always look for something. Don't always expect someone to pay you back. When you plant a seed in somebody's life, a simple thing as a smile, a kind gesture, a hello, how are you? How are you feeling today? Just that simple little thing can change their life. Now, I know there are some people that when you ask that question, it can be a loaded question because they will give you all the ammunition that you want and need. And I know that they will go down the list, but sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them, to listen to their aches and their pains. Sometimes just having that ear to listen makes the difference in the world. Be that person that you can say, I changed somebody's life by doing something simple. It doesn't have to be major, and it doesn't have to be someone that you know. You can just be a stranger to someone. It doesn't take the act of kindness much to change someone else's life. You can possibly change a person that may want to do damage and harm to themselves or hurt someone else. And just you being nice can change their thought process. That's all this podcast is about, is to help you be the best you that you can be, as God is showing me that I can be the best me I can be. But as far as today's podcast, grace, kindness, and mercy, they all intertwine together, but yet there are different qualities. And I want to share my kind experiences with you by hoping that maybe you can look at life in a different way. We need love around this country. It's enough hate. We need just a little bit more love. But for today, I would say thank you. I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for following me. And I hope that you are encouraged and inspired. This is Kim Jones with Standing on Solid Ground. You have a blessed day.